Hello again, and welcome to lesson 23 of our series of 36 lessons. This time I'm in a little box up here because I thought it might be a good idea. Hello. Anyway, we're going to look at directions. I didn't want to do this too complicated because many people use their GPSs these days, and when we're looking for things, we don't always need to ask people where things are. We can just use the GPS and we can get along fine with that, and we can find most places that we're looking for. However, there could be a problem when you're trying to direct somebody to your house, if you're receiving a parcel, maybe a utility company, a guest, or even to direct the emergency services. So that is why I decided to make this particular lesson. So let's take a look. Como chegar à minha casa? How to get to my house. So Mary's been waiting for a parcel to come in the post, and the courier cannot find her house. So we've got an imaginary conversation here between Mary and the delivery guy, the estafeta. So let's go through this. O telefone toca. No, let's try again. O telefone da Mary toca e a Mary atende. Está lá? Estou. Quem fala? Sou do CTT. Tenho uma encomenda para a senhora Mary Jones. Sou eu. Eu não encontro a sua casa. Ah, pois, não é fácil. Onde está o senhor agora? Estou no café Belo Sol. Pois, então, tem de sair do café e virar à esquerda. Continuar até chegar a uma rotunda. Tem de sair na primeira, segunda, terceira saída e continuar ao longo dessa estrada uns 200 metros. Depois vai ver um contentor de lixo verde à esquerda e lá tem de virar à direita. Tem de continuar nesse caminho até chegar a uma casa cor-de-rosa e virar logo à esquerda por um caminho muito estreito. A minha casa é a última casa. Ok. A senhora pode encontrar-se comigo no café? Posso. Espera aí que vou já. So you'll notice that with this we didn't use the infinitive. We didn't use the imperative. We used the infinitive. So we used continuar. We just used the verb in its infinitive. So tem de sair. This is just the basic present tense verb. And vai ver contentor de lixo. There are other ways of saying this. For example, you could say verá contentor. But we're going to take a look at this now. So let's take a look at the breakdown. Estafeta is a courier. Está lá is basically are you there? And then estou, I am. Quem fala, who speaks or who is speaking. Sou do CTT, I am from the post office. Tenho uma encomenda para. Encomenda is generally the word we use for parcel. A student brought up a word the other day which was parcela, which we don't actually use that. That's a different kind of parcel. Sorry about the squeaky chair. Sou eu. Now, sou eu, I am, that is me. Or it's me. When somebody shouts out your name, you go, sou eu. Só means only. Que means that. Não encontro a sua casa. I can't find your house. Não encontro a sua casa. That's from the verb encontrar. Ah, pois, não é fácil. Onde está a senhor... Sorry. Onde está o senhor agora? Estou no café. Belo sol. Pois então, tem de sair do café. So you have to go out of the cafe. So don't forget when we use the verb ter, when we say you have to do something, we always use the preposition de before the following verb in the infinitive. E. Virar à esquerda. Now, in this case, we've done this using the infinitive. If we wanted to do this using the imperative, we would say simply vir à esquerda. These can be a little tricky to learn. So if you want to start off just by saying the infinitives first, that's fine. Again, we've got then continuar. The imperative for continuar would be continue. Oh, spelt it wrong. Continue. Very much like the word in English, continue. Até. Now, até is until or up to. It can also be up to, up until. So, até chegar a uma rotunda is until you arrive at a roundabout. Chegar a uma rotunda, to arrive at a roundabout. Tem de sair. So again, we're like taking a look at when we use the verb ter plus de, to have to do something. We are going to use that preposition de. Tem de sair, and then the verb that comes after that is going to be in the infinitive, and that is the verb to leave. So then we've got na primeira, segunda, terceira saída. Now this is what we call the exits on the roundabouts. They're going to be saídas. Sorry, but my cat is trying to play with me and I'm just keeping him entertained while I'm doing the video. So, primeira, segunda, terceira. So a saída is the exit at the roundabout. Now, if you put your GPS onto Portuguese language, you will then get your instructions in Portuguese. So it's a good idea when you know where you're going, put your GPS onto Portuguese language settings, and then you'll hear all these. You will hear all these instructions actually as you're driving, and you will be able to eventually learn what you should say, and you will also get the proper pronunciation for the road names rather than the strange English or other foreign language interpretations. So then we've got continuar ao longo dessa estrada. So continue along that road. Uns 200 metros. Some 200 meters. So we have the word which means one, and then uns is a plural and it means some. Depois vai ver. So then you are going to see. Now we can use the future tense for this, which would be verá. You will see. Think of the song Que será. So ser means to be. Será means will be. So whenever you add an a to an infinitive of a verb like this, it's going to be will, whatever that verb is. So for example, verá is will see. If you wanted to say sairá, that would you will leave. It's a future tense. So verá is an alternative to vai ver. It's a nice one to learn, especially with instructions. Contentor de lixo verde. A large green bin or container. Now I put container because Contentor is the word that you see for the large bins in Portuguese that you see on the roadsides. They're not called caixas de lixo. This would be a little different. They are actually, okay, I've got your flower. Sorry about this. My cat likes to play with flowers, these little tiny crochet flowers, and he absolutely adores them. And this is the game we play for hours and hours. So anyway, back to the contentor. So contentor is the word for those big green bins you're going to see. À esquerda, à direita. To the left, to the right. On the left, on the right. E lá, and there. So lá is another word for there. The opposite of this one is cá. You often hear people say, anda cá, come here. Not going to go into too much detail with that now, but maybe in another video. Tem de virar à direita. You have to turn right. Tem de continuar. You have to continue. Nesse caminho. On that road. Até chegar a. Until you reach. Uma casa cor-de-rosa. If there's any distinguishing colourful houses nearby in the neighbourhood or any buildings that you might be able to distinguish from others, it's always good to point these out as well. So there could be, maybe your house is opposite a pink house, or maybe it's opposite a house with big green gates. These are always things to consider. Logo à esquerda. So immediately on the left. So this phrase is interpreted as immediately left. Logo à esquerda. Logo can mean immediately, it can mean later, it can mean a number of things depending on the context. Por caminho muito estreito. Down a very narrow road. So this is another one as well. Caminho estreito is a narrow road. A minha casa. My house. É a última. Is the last. Nesse caminho. On that road. Pode encontrar-se comigo no café. So this is always an option. If giving directions to your house is just too much to handle, then you can always give the option of just saying, can we meet at my house? So you can always give the option of just meeting them at the cafe, sorry. So, posso. Espera aí que eu vou já. Wait there, I'll be right there. So, vou já, I'll be right there. You might have seen volto já. A lot of people say volto já when if they leave their shop for a few minutes, they might put a sign saying volto já, and that means I'll be back immediately. I'll be right back. Oh, cat, I've never seen you so active with a flower. Come on. Okay, so avoiding the imperative. So we actually avoided the imperative above. And I did this to make the text as easy as possible. We were using ter plus the infinitive, and it makes it a lot easier if we do it like this. You don't have to worry about the imperative. But so let's take a look. Let's compare. I already wrote this above. Vir à esquerda, turn left. So instead of tem de virar à esquerda or virar à esquerda, you can just say vir à esquerda. Continua em frente. Continue straight on. Saia na terceira saída. Saia na terceira saída. They're not too difficult to learn. I will be giving a lesson on the imperatives because they're kind of important. A good way to take a look and find out about imperatives is to look at recipes in recipe books or magazines. You can find a lot of magazines that do Portuguese recipes, and even online if you're not living in Portugal, and they will show you the instructions will always be with the imperative. And it's good just to observe them so you can see if you notice anything. So if we compare vir à esquerda with o senhor tem de virar à esquerda, you can see there's a big difference. Here we've got a longer phrase for a start. You could just say o senhor vira à esquerda. O senhor tem de continuar em frente. You have to continue straight on. O senhor tem de sair na terceira saída. You have to leave at the third exit. So it's a lot easier to do it like this because you're repeating and you're just using the infinitive of the verb. Once you've already said tem de, you have to use the other verbs in their infinitive. You do not conjugate them. So, and you don't have to repeat that word either. So you can say, o senhor tem de virar à esquerda, continuar em frente e sair na terceira saída. It's like you would say it in your own language. You're not going to say, well, you have to turn left, you have to go straight on, you have to turn right. You would just say you have to once. A point of reference. So it's always good to find a point of reference when you are giving people directions. So, for example, let's take a look at some phrases that you might hear from a delivery guy. Não encontro a sua casa. This is one a lot of people hear. And then she says, o senhor conhece o restaurante Belo Sol? Do you know the restaurant Belo Sol? Conheço. I know it. Encontramos lá às 2 da tarde. Está bem. Okay. So we can meet there at 2 p.m. So this is a question, basically. You're not changing the order of the words. This is one option when they can't find your house. Another option, I'm using the word morada here, just address to change it a little bit. So, não encontro a sua morada. O senhor sabe onde é o supermercado Martins? Sei. Encontramos lá daqui a 10 minutos? Can we meet there in 10 minutes? Está bem. So, when we say daqui a 10 minutos, that is from here 10 minutes or 10 minutes from now. We don't use a reference to time, we rather use a reference to space. So we say 10 minutes from here rather than 10 minutes from now. Daqui a 10 minutos. If a time or day is not convenient, you might hear, não, às 2 da tarde não dá. So, no, 2 p.m. is no good. Daqui a 10 minutos não dá. Pode ser daqui a meia hora. 10 minutes from here is not good. Can it be half an hour from here? Or in 10 minutes time is no good. Can it be in half an hour from now? Now we've got some interesting nouns that they're not, well, I suppose they are phrases, short phrases that we would use when we are giving directions. So let's see, we've got ir em frente, virar à esquerda, go away, I don't know what you've done with your flower. Sorry about this is what happens when you have a cat. Ir em frente, virar à esquerda, virar à direita, atravessar a ponte, passar à igreja, chegar à rotunda, contornar a rotunda, sair na última saída, primeiro, primeira. Don't forget these are going to be masculine or feminine. Segundo, segunda. Terceiro, terceira. And quarto, quarta. You might notice the similarity here with the days of the week, because the days of the week are ordinals in Portuguese. Ao lado de, next to, em frente de, opposite, atrás de, and à frente de, which means in front of. I actually forgot to add one of those, which is entre. I'm going to add that now. Entre means between. So I didn't put that on the list. Not quite sure why. Just one of those things. It's a lot of stuff to do, you know. Especially when you've got a cat, that doesn't help. Oops. Yeah, do not press the space bar when you have this on. Entre, between. Okay, so a minha casa fica atrás do restaurante Belo Sol. My house is behind the restaurant Belo Sol. A casa dela fica na rua Castelo Lopes, em frente da farmácia. Her house is on Rua Castelo Lopes, blah, blah. Now, even just learning what the infinitives of the verb mean will help a lot with understanding. Because the verb stem is going to be the same for all the other conjugations. The verb stem is going to remain the same. Think of it as like the trunk and the others are the branches. So the imperative command form, so in Portuguese, we use the command form a lot. In English, we hardly notice it. So you can avoid it by, as I showed above, and we can also avoid this a lot by using the verb poder, to be able to, like can you. Yeah. Pode cortar em dois pedaços, se faz favor. Can you cut in two pieces, please? Now, using the imperative, it would go like this. Corte em dois pedaços, por favor. Now, it might seem rude to you, but a lot of people do not consider this rude. It's speech, it's language, it's the way we speak. So just cut into two pieces, please, basically. As long as you say please and thank you, that's nice. So we've taken the verb cortar, to cut, and we've changed it almost like it was an ER verb. When you're out and about, you'll notice that on all the doors we have the instructions empurre and puxe. Now these are actually AR verbs. It's empurrar and puxar. Why have I written pull twice? That's what happens when you do these things at midnight. Puxar. So these are both imperatives. Empurre, puxe. So let's take a look at a few more imperatives. So corte is the você form, and that is the verb cortar. You see? It's an AR verb. Cortem. This is the plural form for vocês. Now for two, we use the present tense of the verb cortar. So we have, for example, eu corto, tu cortas, ele corta. It's like the present tense of the ele form. And we use that for the to form. So let's take a look. Senhor Miguel, corta o bolo. Cortem a corda. Oh, João, corta este papel, se faz favor. Now, don't worry about this too much at this point in time. We'll be coming back to this. Now we're going to take a quick look at the verb ficar. The verb ficar means to stay, and it's often used like the verb ser, to be, when we're referring to location. So, for example, a minha casa fica atrás do restaurante Belo Sol. A casa dela fica na rua Castelo Lopes, em frente da farmácia. We can also use the verb ser, and it's going to mean exactly the same thing. A minha casa é atrás do restaurante Belo Sol. A casa dela é na rua Castelo Lopes, em frente da farmácia. It means exactly the same thing. Okay, so we're down to the verb of the day. Verb of the day, past tense. Very good verb to know in the past tense. Eu disse. Tu disseste. Ele disse. Nós dissemos. Eles disseram. Good. Now, when we use the verb dizer in the past tense, we often use the imperfect form of the verb after it. So, not the same verb, a different verb. So, for example, ela disse que ficava em casa. She said that she was staying at home, or she said that she would stay at home. Ele disse que ia a Lisboa. He said that he was going to Lisbon. We can also use it together with the imperfect to talk about something that somebody said they would do at some time in the future. Eu disse que falava com ele amanhã. So I said that I would speak to him tomorrow. Eles disseram que vinham na próxima semana. They said they would come next week. Ela disse que o estafeta não encontrava a casa. Okay, so we've come to the end of this. This is also one of the videos that I give out to my students who are having lessons in person with me. And these lessons, all of these lessons are available on the platform Buy Me a Coffee, which I have the name of Speak European Portuguese. So Buy Me a Coffee, the title Speak European Portuguese. But this is a platform where you can find lots of information, lots of videos, and every week we have a dictation, we have a story, we have a grammar lesson, and these are for people who subscribe to the platform. If you subscribe just for €10 a month, you will get access to the basic courses and the basic weekly lessons. If you subscribe through the premium level, you will get access to all these videos, which there are 36 of them in total. I am still uploading them to the platform, and we will get there eventually. I'm hoping to do 2 a week because I think it's a bit too much to bombard people's email boxes all the time. It's one thing I don't like to do. I kind of get sick when I see loads of stuff coming into my inbox, so I just want to make it so it's, I think, 6 times, I think every day is good enough. Every day is good enough. As long as you feel that you're getting something out of it. So I would like your opinions about the platform so far. Do not be afraid to comment in the threads. I notice that some people maybe are a little afraid. In the last one, for example, we had some questions that you're supposed to answer in the answers section underneath the post. Don't be afraid to do this. It's all about interaction. I want to make a community here where we're all together. We can all ask questions. We can all say what we're up to. We can all show what we're thinking, how we're thinking about the language. And any feedback is appreciated. So don't forget to take a look at the platform below in the link below. I put it below in the description. Sorry, I'm a bit flustered. The cat wore me out. Anyway, I normally edit videos, but I'm not going to edit this video because editing takes so long and it uses up just so much time. And I like the more natural feel of these videos, and I know that many of my students do too. So I hope to see you next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.